Hey, good night. Blessed love to everyone. How you guys doing tonight on this beautiful night? Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday to everyone. Shout out to Good Eats. Happy Friday to you, Good Eats. Blessing, peace, and blessing to all. Good to see you all. Hey, Fifi Urban Home Cell, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, yes, guys. So as we know, man, disaster. As you see the topic, disaster everywhere, disaster everywhere, and we in early January. We actually in January. You know what I mean? And 2025. I'm patiently waiting. No, you know what? I ain't get no snow. I ain't really get no snow. I was basically in an area today, this morning, and the snow was, I was even helping people shoveling snow today. It reminds me of old times, snowing. So I really get the snow. But listen to me, I see people with 3 inches of snow today. I see people steps full with snow. Is man, it ain't easy. You see, and these are the conversation we do have from time to time about being prepared or preparation, how for these type of things, because in places like Georgia, you don't have snow fall like that. You barely see snow. You know what I'm saying? Snow already fall in places like Georgia. In up in the north side, you have so many, from time to time, so many people, snow everywhere, inches of snow. So people are really preparing for snow in places like Georgia, Florida, these type of area. People really not preparing for the snow. But so I'm thinking, if you ain't prepared for the snow, how you make it today? For the people who had us to deal with the snow, how did you make it today? You see, I see someone run off the road today. I naturally see someone run off the road and run into a skate off the road and run into a little ditch. You know what I'm saying? So we are, listen me, in other places that prepare, they're going to have the snow plow, they're going to have their truck pushing the salt in the road. They're going to have all that. But when places don't use to snow, they're not prepared. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how people make it today, but it was kind of challenging. And when I look, and guess what? Hey, Monstad, Bronx Flap, how you doing? Blessings, thanks for being here. Appreciate you all here. Yes. So, and then guess what? After it's snow, what happened? It started raining this evening. Like someone was telling me it was raining. So what happened now? The rain gonna melt the snow, and then if the weather get cold overnight, that gonna turn into ice. And if that turn into ice, then it's gonna be worse tomorrow. So could you imagine you're not prepared and got to deal with that type of weather? And I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure Fifi, I'm sure you know. Because you deal with this type of weather for years. I'm sure you know when it's overnight and the snow is slushy and the temperature drop down to under third freezing marks. That weather does be, it's like the ice. It does be like a ice on the road. And that is what's dangerous. So for the people who dealing with the snow in Georgia, I think you guys got be careful. Be careful out there. Be careful, because it could be really dangerous on these type of road with snow on top of it. The salt got hit real good. It was all over the news. Someone said they didn't get snow. Therefore, yes, in these places you don't see snow. You don't see snow. You don't see snow. The last time I think it snowed, it wasn't that bad. It was just little sprinkles that you could see on the ground. And that's basically where I see a lot of places only get little, like you could just see the little sprinkle on the ground. But then you have places that I saw today with at least 3 inches of snow. So it's depending on where you are. It's depending on where you are. You see the snow really on the ground, naturally cover the ground, naturally white. And some areas I saw, with some areas you ain't see no snow at all either. So it's depending on where you are. But you got to be careful out there, guys. Be careful out there. Oh, yes. Let me see. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, exactly. You deal with the weather for a long time, so you know how dangerous it can be. Even overnight, an overnight freeze could be very dangerous. But you know, when I observe what's really going on, man, when I observe what's going on, in one side of the country, there's fire. And you know, I didn't even take that serious because, you know, when I say don't take that serious, yes, I did. But you know, in that area, there's always fire. There's always fires, you know, almost every year for the past few years. It's like fire blazing in these areas. But this year, I've realized that people actually, houses is burning down. I think a few people lose their life as well. So one part, fire is blazing, and there's another part, snowfall, that people didn't see for years. So when we look at these things, guys, these things is what make us really be more mindful, because things that you never saw happen. Things that you never saw happen could happen. And you know, these are conversations we've been having all the time. Not because it's not by your doorstep mean it's never gonna happen to you. Yes, it could happen to you. Because, and guess what? The weather is freezing. These days it's really, really cold. When you wake up in the morning, it's blistering cold out there. For a matter of fact, 2 days ago, usually, wait, hold on. They also had earthquake there today. Oh wow. You see what I'm saying? Oh wow. Is the honest truth is we can't just believe that we can't sit back anymore and believe that nothing is impossible. We can't. And like I was saying last night, I'm not the person who gonna tell you to go out there and spend all your money trying to prepare and trying to get this and trying to get that. I'm not gonna be telling you to do that, because man, sometimes when disaster come, sometimes you gotta run, leave everything. So sometimes the skill is important. But I also not going to tell you not to be prepared at the same time, because there's so much simple things we could have that we could walk with lightweight. If you got to run, you grab a few things and you just go. Or you save things in different areas, because listen to me, I think it's getting, I think it's, I don't think it's getting any easier. I think if we're going to see a lot more during this year go forth, I believe we're going to see a lot more. I really believe things is changing, not for, I really believe a lot of stuff going on happen. I truly believe that. We got to be careful and we got to be mindful. Learn as much skills as you can. Be prepared. Get yourself together. Teach your children what you know, what you learn. Teach them that this information can go forth to another generation, because I'm telling you, for what I see happening, it's going to be scary time, because this is the thing. When things not happening to us, we don't feel it that way, because why? We not actually physically dealing with the situation. But could you imagine living somewhere and the fire is just blazing through your neighborhood, that you got to run and leave your house with everything? Could you imagine that? It's not easy. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to even sit down and think about fire. And we all know how fire dangerous. We all know how fire spread. We know if there's a lot of leaf and dry grass on the ground. We know how the fire spread from one home to the other. And you watch this fire blazing, coming, and especially if the wind is blowing, coming and just burning down homes. That could be devastating, because sometimes this is what you walk for all your life. This is your life. You watch burn down before your eyes. So it's not easy. That's all I can say, man. That fire made me question. Fifi Urban Homestead say, that fire made me question myself. This is just real. I have a package bag, and hopefully I would have the time to grab it in an emergency where emergency war to happen. Yes, that you know, we always have this type of conversation, and people don't, a lot of people not interested into these conversations, but this thing is real. This thing is real, man. And it's happening before our eyes today. It's really serious time. This thing is real. It's happening. Snow falling where people don't see snow for years. Then we have fire blazing, burning people out their home. Then we have earthquake. And if say that vicious wind also, right? A wind, we all know, when we catch in a fire, and we blowing, and we fanning, because fire love air. Fire love air, fire love the wind. The wind basically will help boost the fire. So it's not easy. So disaster is happening everywhere. You know, sometimes yes, you know, when we look back in places like, you know, Africa and these type of places, you know, we used to hear about a lot of earthquake, a lot of It's not to say you wasn't getting earthquake in different places, but in different countries all over the world. We've been hearing about earthquake, we've been hearing about tsunami, we've been hearing about all these things. Well, I'm gonna say this. I believe this thing gonna be start happening everywhere very soon. I believe that. Allegedly, the last thing I remember hearing, they start seeing water in the desert. Water naturally showing up in the desert. Places where water never shows up before, it's showing up. So we got to look out for a lot this year. We have to look out for a lot this year and forth. And sometimes we watch movies, guys. Sometimes we watch movies, and I don't know. Sometimes we look at movies as entertainment, and we enjoy the movie. But guys, I take the movies very seriously. I do not just watch movies and think it's just a movie. I watch it and I take it as something that might just even happen in the future. Sometimes these movies, like the cartoons, them, I watch these cartoons we've been watching, our kids watching. They give a lot of information and we taking them. You know what, guys? Let me tell you something. The cartoon you turn on for your kids and you turn away and you gone, sit down with them and watch the cartoon. And you're gonna see. You think watching a cartoon is just little thing for kids. Well, guess what? You sit down and you watch the cartoon for yourself, and you're gonna see what's in these cartoons and what they're telling you in these cartoons. I'm not taking this thing for serious, man, for simple. I don't know if you guys familiar with the show, The Simpsons, and the prediction. Well, I'm not gonna say everything that they predict is correct, but what I'm gonna say is they hit some and right on the tip of the head. So these things, I'm not taking these movies for granted. Then a lot of movies we watch that tells us we're gonna happen in 2025. We just take them as movies, but look what's happening today. It's actually happening. Okay, Godid say everyone definitely need a plan, a safe place to flee to, staying connected to family and friends on other areas that are willing to take you in. If you don't, multiplies homes. Yes, you're right. This is the time when you have to have connection. This is the time when you have to have connection and places to go, because you just never know. Could you imagine what these people is going through with this type of weather and everything? You lose everything. You lost everything. All you got to do, run with your two empty hands. So you're right. You're right. I just had that conversation with my husband today. Movie has the meaning. Yes, definitely. Definitely. And you know who drew my attention to this? And this was a long time ago. This is about 15 years ago. An old lady tell me, she said, you know what? You see these cartoons you all just put the children them to watch and all you don't pay attention to? She said, guess what? You sit down with your children and watch the cartoon with them, and you will see what they're telling them in these movies. And you just believe, oh, it's just a cartoon, it's just for children. No, you sit down and watch them, and you're gonna learn so much that they're telling that the movie is telling the kids them. Don't just leave them to watch the movie because you don't even because you feel it's just a kid movie. No, these movies have meaning. These movies have deep meanings behind them. For real. Yeah, exactly. They're telling us what's going to happen. Yes, yes, it's true. They're telling us in these movies and in these cartoons what is going to happen. That's true. But we take them for granted. We think it's just movies. Is an old lady pulled my attention to that years ago. And from that, that's when I started to pay attention and I realized she was correct. I realized she was correct. She had enough and realized what's good. Right, definitely. Definitely. Right? They show us what they are doing or what they plan to do. Yes, definitely. So in these movies and in these, yeah, because when you sit back, right? When you sit back, you remember, guys, you remember years gone by. You remember when you sit down, like in 2000, in the 2000, when you sit back and you watch a movie, the movie might tell you, okay, or in 2022, you see how the cars them driving for themselves. You see, robots, you see machine, you see the type of cars them. We seeing that today. Definitely seeing that today. So that tells you they're showing you how the future gonna look. They're giving you an insight of how the future gonna look, and they're also telling you how it's gonna be in the future. So, and these disaster, a lot of these disaster is what gonna shape things. I'm telling you, a lot of these disaster is which come in and shape thing into place, push thing into place. Don't take them for granted. I'm telling you, do not take them for granted. Don't take the movie you watch for granted. Don't take the cartoon your children sit down watching for granted. Don't do that. It's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. Designed to target kids to get them to Fifi Urban Homestead said, designed to target kids to get them to it. All right, exactly. And at the same time, you don't even know that because you're not even watching the movies. But as soon as you start watching, you realize, oh my goodness, is this these kids been watching all the time and I don't know? So be careful. Be careful. Be careful. And people still doubt reality, even though it's affecting them. It's all right. That's true. People, listen me. A lot of people, things that will happen before their eyes or happen to them or reach their family before they realize it's real. If it ain't happening to them or their family, it's not real to them. They don't see it, they don't concern because it's not happening to them. But as soon as it hit those, that's when reality hit them. You see what I'm saying? But it's best to be aware. It's best to be aware of these type of situation. Like I said, is any kind of disaster can hit. You have earthquake, you have hurricane, you have snowstorm, tsunami, all different type of ways you can there can be emergency. And some of the time you have to run, leave everything. And some of the time You have to start over from scratch. And the help you might get, yes, any help necessary is needed, but sometimes the help you might get could never carry you back where you are. So it's like you got to start over from scratch. You have to start back over from scratch. I'm telling you. It's the same reason why they are trying to ban TikTok in the whereas preparation for years to come. Just like it's in the movie stars. All right. Oh, okay. You see the movie Sal with the lady, right? Yes. I don't take movies simple. I don't take them for granted. I do it, believe it's a message. I do believe it's they're showing you things that happening and they're showing you things that's gonna be happening in the future. So you watch this movie as entertainment, you watch them as fun, but you got to remember they have a meaning behind them. They have a message behind them. So don't just look at the entertainment, look at the message. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I see that movie too. As a matter of fact, I see it several times. I see it several times. So these movies give you ideas of what's going on because this is not these people not hiding anything. They're showing you everything. If you don't want to see and learn and observe and pay attention, that's you. But they shows you everything. Is we know to pay attention to what they're showing us and something they show you in code. Sometimes they show you, they give you in code, but now it's like plain sight. They're hitting you direct now. They have no time to hide nothing anymore. They're hitting you direct now. So if you still don't want to pay attention to what is going on, that's gonna be up to you, man. That's gonna be up to you. Even though, you know what? This is why I know that people, that we as people, only, well, not every one of us, you know what I'm saying? But this is why, how I know that people really don't, a lot of people only wait, only when things hit them, that's when they realize it, is when I realize, we're talking about growing our own food for so long. We try to encourage people to grow their own food. We try to encourage people however we can. But if you notice, a lot of people don't care about that. Even they hear, even though we hear about all the recalls we hear about, all the recalls. It's not to say they're hiding the recalls, It's not to say when something recalled, they're hiding it. They're putting it out there for you. They're telling you. So in that case, that might make you say, nah, my goodness, I got to try to do something better. I got to try to at least try to grow my own. At least try to able to do something for myself. People still, people, people still will prefer to go and buy these thing that goes on recall every minute than try to grow their own. But that's how crazy it is. That's when I realized, boy, because you know what? I take it as warning because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Exactly. If the urban hope that say, I take it as a warning because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Yes, because you know the time is coming, and it's just a matter of when. You're right. You're right. It's a matter of when. Hey, Lastos, how you doing? Thank you for being here. People get too comfortable, and you're right. You so right with that. Comfortability. Comfortability. When we're able to get things by the snap of our finger, don't go out and walk the field to get our food and grow it how we want it. We go and we pick it up by the store, even though we know, even though we realize there's in every field, there's recall. In every field, there's recall. There's sometimes soda, recall, sometimes meat, sometimes chicken, sometimes there's a site that gives you the recall. That you could go and it will give you the recall then. And still, people would not try. And even though they have the space, they still would not even try to say, you know what? Let me try grow some chicken. Let me try grow some lamb. Let me try grow some rabbit. Let me try that, because at least it will save you from receiving these things that you don't even know the preparation of these things. We don't even know how they prepare. We don't even know if there was, like sometimes things freeze to ice, and then it defrosts, and then you put it back for freeze again. You don't even know the condition of these things. But people willingly buy them still. When you could just, even though you won't want to rear the animal, that's understandable. But if you have the space, you should try to grow something at least, man. This disaster is real. And it's going to become a time when it's going to be happening everywhere, not just in certain places. It's going to be happening all over. So it's not like you're going to be saying, okay, this is a place that always have storm. I head somewhere else. No, because it's going to be happening everywhere in different places. It's getting serious. It's getting serious. I'm not here to tell anyone to go and grow any food. I'm not here to tell no one real any animal. I can't do that. That you got to decide that. But just pay attention to what you see happening today. Just pay attention to what is going on. Places that don't get snow is getting snow. Fire blazing in different places. Allegedly, because I don't know for sure, I never saw it, but I'm hearing that water is coming up in the desert. I mean, places that water never used to be, water is coming up. So this thing is telling you, if you are sleeping and full of comfort, this thing is telling you, wake up. Especially when you have family. Especially when you have family, you have kids, whether you have kids, you have grandchildren, whatever. You got to wake up, man. This thing is real. And we know this is 2025. And I remember seeing so many different movies with 2025. I remember. You see? I remember seeing so many movies about 2025. Now we are 2025 and it's already begin. Some people, okay, Fifi Urban Homestead and Lifestyle said, some people buy 100% of their food, which I think is sad. Yeah, I really think that too. There's no way. If I understand, if you don't have no space, I understand. But there's no way for what you see happening today and all the recalls you hear about, and you have space, and you're not trying to grow something. I know what to say. But remember, I'm not here to tell you do anything you don't want to do. All right? That's not what I'm here for. All right? I'm just bringing it to light that we have to wake up. You okay? Fifi Urban Homestead said you better tell people to grow food because you are growing, so they will come. Do you see looting in LA even with all the fire? Oh wow! You see, that's the next thing again. That's the next thing again. And you're correct. You're correct. If you're growing, you got, and these things are serious. If you're growing food, right, and people close to you is not growing, and it become a time when there's no food, the supermarket have no food, the truck not delivering. What you think gonna happen? You think they're gonna watch your garden over there and they might be home hungry and have their children? No, people gonna come. So we really should be encouraging people to grow, or your neighbors, encourage your neighbors to grow. Because people will be looking. And no one is going to sit down and their children need food and just sit down and just see food and then go and look for food. I don't think people are going to do that. So is a lot of things I see going on, and it's really getting serious, Jed. And it's not. And as Fifi says, stay ready. It's not just about, let me see. I stay ready even though I understand I may have to leave everything and run to save. Right, yes, right, right. Even though you know you might still can't grab anything, at least you still try to be as ready as possible. I'm thinking about going off grid, but they catching fire in. Last time, like they try to run people out there. Like they try to run people out the forest, man. With, with them fire blazing. Like they try to chase people out. No living off the grid here. I'm good with the mindset of having forcefully shared time with getting scary, and people have become more and more deaf. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. You know, living off the grid, right? Living off the grid. People might not want to live up. People living off the grid. The truth is, living off the grid, living off the grid, guys, could be very scary because, but trust me, living off the grid could be what could be so excited you would not believe. If you and your family living off the grid, nobody bothering you guys, you're growing your own food. It's a beautiful lifestyle. It really is. It really is a beautiful lifestyle, living off the grid. But many people not gonna want to do that, and I understand because a lot of people might fear bugs a lot of people might afraid different things. So they're not trying to. This is why sometimes in your backyard you should create a tent and try sometimes to sleep in that tent in your backyard. Get used to it, Jet. I think. Wait, I'm trying to share it. Okay. I think if any, okay, I'm putting the link in the chat. If anyone want to come up, if you guys want to come up, you could come up. All right, I put the link in the chat. All right. Yes, I think living off the grid is a beautiful, beautiful lifestyle. But if you never live off the grid before, I think you should start practicing. Even it's in your backyard, practicing, buy a tent and live, spend some time, understand the lifestyle of living off the grid. Practice, because you just never know. The way we see things happening today, you just never know. So I think should practice living off the grid right in your backyard. Just create just create it for yourself. Create it in the form of, oh yes, I'm living off the grid. I'm living off the grid. So I'm acting like I'm living off the grid and practice. I'm telling you, for these times is coming. If we urban homestead and lifestyle, I have and can live off the grid. I have and can live off the grid. But in the island, it's harder to do that here because, right, it's harder to do that here because of the winter. But if you have to, you will, I guarantee you. Them wood, you will burn them wood and warm up your hand and you're going to make yourself comfortable. So at least you might be able to do everything you can in your backyard to live off the grid practice. But the basic, understanding the basic is what we should pay attention to. The basic of living off the grid, understand it. It's a skill and it's also a mindset. It's a skill and it's a mindset because your mind got to be ready to able to live off the grid, honestly. Your mind got to be ready because you will panic. I'm telling you, you will panic. Yes, you will panic. Okay, let me see. I was thinking about it yesterday when I saw the fire. Yeah. You all know that saying, there's nothing more dangerous than a person with nothing. That's true. Nothing to lose. You don't care. You have nothing to lose. That is true, Goody. That is true. But if you have to, I think you want to make it. I think if you have to, you will make it. I think so. We do have every year spend days in the backyard sleeping until it's a good thing to do. Yes, it is. I think it's a good thing to do. Practice in case you have an idea, you have the feel, the mindset of living off the grid. Yes, because you just never know. Oh, absolutely. And I have, yeah, of course, you got to survive. Because don't listen to me. You know, one day a guy was, I was talking to an older guy, and he was telling me, he said, listen to me. He said, in disaster and like if a disaster come, because I was telling him the same thing if you now said about the coldness. We was talking about disaster. And he said, you know something that could warm you up really, really good. And what he told me was pile up leaf. Like say for instance, you in an area, you pile up leaf together, pile up leaf and go in between the leaf. He said that could keep you warm. So you gotta be creative. So now just think about it, right, guys? Let me just be logic for a second. Just think about it. Creativity. No, if just like how he told me that, you pile up leaf together and you go in between the leaf and it make you warm, it could help keep down the coldness. You could be creative with them same leaves. You see where I'm coming from? You could be creative with these same leaves. You could have, maybe you have bags. You could bag up, bags up leaf, or you could take wood. You could, listen to me. You could take wood, frame out an area inside and outside. Right or wrong, right? Create a little area for the door. Right? It's like, let me see. Like you make a box. You frame out a box. Right? You frame out a box, but you have inside, and you catch what I'm saying? So you have the frame inside, then you have another layer of frame outside. You're using wood. And what you're doing, you're throwing the leaf down between the two frames. So you have, say, like an 8 inches package or 10 inches, whatever. And what you do when you dampen the leaf down between there, and you building it up. You understand? So now instead of you have to go between the leaf, you could be in a frame with the leaf them keeping you warm. When you tell me that clicked to my mind. That's, yes, the insulation. Just like that. Being creative, just like that. Save wood. The same wood you get, whether you got to go and get wood from in the bushes or wherever. I'm not talking about wood in the store, because if you don't have the funds to get it, you just can't get it. Being creative, whatever you can use to create that, and then you just damp leaf down inside it. So the leaf gonna keep you warm, but it not touching you at the same time. You see, so you create something. There's also trees. There's also trees that holler inside. There's a lot of trees out there that have a holler inside of them that you could go inside as well. So sometimes, I know you might not have the access to that, but what I'm saying is you have to be creative when these disasters hit. Because you cannot allow you and your family to freeze. You got to come up with ideas. How am I gonna get ourselves warm? This is why I always talk about skills and the importance of having these skills. And like I was saying last night in the live, when you cannot run with the generator on your back, when you cannot run with your stove on your back or your bed on your back, you could run with the skill in your head. You see what I'm coming from? You can run with the skill. The skill is not too heavy for you to travel with. So skill is important, guys. Yep. Yes, insulation. Yes. Skills. Yeah. No time for panicking. Time for action and be creative using what you have available. Yes, I agree. You in this time you can't panic. You have kids. There's no time. There's no time. Okay. You been inside a tree before, bro? Yes, definitely. Yes. Godi. That's what I'm telling you, Godi. That's why I'm saying it. There's hollow tree. There's, a matter of fact, there was a big tree that tumbled down. And when I look, I saw the inside of the tree. I don't even know what tree it is. But I saw the inside of a tree. The inside was hollow. And I'm saying, what? So you could create a door. See what I'm saying? You could create a door. I'm telling you. So these are things, man, you got to pay attention with your surrounding. I'm telling you. You got to pay attention with your surrounding. Them trees that's around you. All these things, for real. Hey, Rose Williams, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Yes, I went up in one before, but it was lying on the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Them trees, you have hollow trees. I seen that with my eyes. And not to say the tree was old and it was rotten. No, it was a full strong tree, but it fall down because of wind. Yeah. Our plants are really right there. Prepping is also being prepared to. Yep. Prepping is also being prepared to run. Yes. That's it, man. When skill, when you, I keep saying this thing, when you cannot lift up your stove, when you cannot lift up nothing in your house to run with, the skill, everything you learn, never too heavy for you to travel with. Never too heavy. So that's how important a skill is. Having a skill is easy. It's easy. When I say easy, let me not say easy. It's a way how to start over without panicking. It's a way how to start over because when you start to see material on the ground, you see what I'm saying? You start thinking, okay, I could use this to do this, I could use this to do that. The idea approach, when you see the material, ideas comes. You see? Material ideas comes because the skill is already there. Don't underestimate, always try to learn as much as you can. I saw that smile on your face when you said it. Yes, I've seen it before. I've seen it. Yes, there's hollow tree out there. Hey, Rose Williams from Jamaica, shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming through. All right. Shout out to Jamaica. Yes. Yes to skills. Exactly. Yes to skill. You can tell, right? Yeah, man. I've seen trees like that before, yeah? Disaster happen, you could hop yourself up in one of them trees, man. Yeah. That's why it's good to have you look around your surrounding. You see, you have people, right, live in places, and there's stream close to them, there's water source close to them, but they don't know. You see where I'm coming from? Where they live in, there might be a creek but they don't know a creek is there. And that's not cool. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know if water sources are around you in case. It's all about in case something happens. You welcome, Rose Williams. It's all about knowing and being. These are things that can get you prepared. So, for instance, you living in an area, and less than a mile away from you, there's a creek, a water source. Disaster happen, you lose everything, you have no water, none of these things. If you know, oh, you know what? I know a creek is over there. Then right there you have your water source. But if you don't know, you're gonna be there wondering how am I gonna get water, where to turn, you don't know, and you have a creek half-mile. So guys, sometimes it's good to know your surrounding. It's good to know what's around you. And I'm telling you, if you didn't have this mindset before, I think you better start getting this mindset, because you see what is happening. None of us exempt from disaster. None of us. It can happen to any one of us any day. It could happen to any one of us any day. So we're not exempt from disaster. We just have to pay more attention and be more prepared, be more skillful. You know, your people never even light up matches outside to catch a fire. You gotta try. Go outside, light some wood, cook under wood fire. Or at least try. If you're not gonna cook, at least try to catch a fire. Do you? I see. I remember, I see. I have 1 grain of matches. 1 grain of matches. And the wood was wet. I could never forget that. The wood was wet. 1 grain of matches. And there wasn't no matches around for Sarah. You could run to the store and get the matches. And we wanted to cook. We have 1 grain of matches. Rain comes and the wood then wet. And I start thinking, because I'm saying, I cannot make this fire in catch. I cannot. This fire, I have to, because if this fire in catch, we cannot cook. And listen, I start thinking. The first thing run to my mind, I remember we had a piece of sponge. A piece of sponge, I remember the sponge. And I went, so sponge is a good source of catching fire too, guys. Sponge, I went and I get the sponge. And I'm there and I, you know, because if this match is in catch, everyone gonna be blaming me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I went and I get the sponge and I jar the matches. 1 pop. And I hold the sponge over the matches. And the sponge just start blazing. And the sponge just start blazing. And then I rest down the sponge. And then I start to bring some small little pieces of wood. Even though the wood was wet, but I start to bring the small pieces of wood and I start to, you know, break them and split them and start to put them. The next thing I see, the heat start drying out the wood and the wood them start catching. Now I start to put little bigger wood, thicker wood on top, and you're not putting them the same way. You're tying them like this. You're tying them like this. So if this one catch, this one stands a chance of catching, and then the other one, and I get the fire blazing. Everyone was so excited. And that's how we was able to cook. So a piece of sponge, doesn't matter how wet the, yeah, this is what I'm saying. By knowing these things is very helpful, because I know if I did jar of matches and try to put the wood on top of it, I know it would not work. I know it would not work because the matches would not be able to blaze long enough to warm up these wood to even catch them. But that piece of sponge, make everybody smile, I'm telling you. So creative thinking really could help you in this time. No time to panic, because no one else want to catch the fire now, because everybody feel like, nah, I'm not gonna get blamed today. But I remember the piece of sponge. Tear the sponge, warm up with the matches, and just hold it right there. And when I see the sponge start blazing, that's when I rest it down and I start bringing the woods them and pack them over it. You have to learn these skills. You just never know. You just never know. Could you imagine you have 1 grain of matches? And I'm giving, this is real good information I'm giving you. 1 grain of matches and rain come and all the wood around wet. But you got to cook. You have people depending on you to eat. So you got to figure out, how am I? So practicing is good. Practicing is good. That's why I'm saying sometimes it's good to have a tent. And if you have a backyard, you could spend a night in your backyard in your tent from time to time. Understand the feelings. Understand what it is. So if you really got to do it, it's become natural, it's easy. Once you have the mindset and able to think and figure stuff out, you okay. It's the same thing I was saying. If you have skill and there's a disaster come in your neighborhood and blow down everything, whatever, from the time you start to see material like galvanized, wood, underground, it automatically click to you. All right, let me get some of these. Let me start building up a shed in case rain come to keep. So practicing really can help you. And these are the time we need to practice. I'm telling you, we need to practice. Because like I said, it don't have to come tomorrow. I don't have to come right now. But you just never know what next week might bring. Okay, let me see. Water, fuel, shelter, food, lawn, simple hunting skill, chop and using bow and arrow. Definitely. Because if things happen, right? Things happen and you got to eat. You understand? Because you never know the situation. You see, this is for everyone. This is for people who living in the country. You know, sometimes you live in deep in the country and you don't have the access to gas and you don't have the access to running water and these type of stuff. And a disaster hit you. You ain't access to matches. You are 1 grain of matches. And you could be in the city too. There's no store open. You cannot go to the store to get nothing. You cannot, but you have 1 grain of matches. There's no gas running in your house, but you have some wood in your backyard. You want to go and cook. You have 1 grain of matches. There's a way how to make that work. Piece of sponge. Yeah. Practice bushcraft in skill old school can't ever get old. Exactly. Emergency will bring them back. That's it. Once you got the skill, it just the situation you in automatically bring them right back to you. Yeah. This is real disaster preparation education. All right. Thank you, Rose Williams. Yes, we try to get these type of information because you can't get too comfortable. You cannot get too comfortable. I'm sure you ate good. Hell yes. I bought up some yam and some. Yes, I surely eat well. I think everybody eat well that day. And fire lasts all day, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, these skills is very important. And sometimes we think we don't need these skills, but we do. Because all it takes is situation. All it takes is situation. And you don't want to be panicking. You don't want to be panicking. You want to be, from the time a situation happens, you want to be, the survival mode kick in. Because you have no time to panic. You see, in times, why the reason why I don't really tell people about too much about buying this and buying that, I try to stick to the basic. Right? Because the reason why I stick to the basic, I don't try to tell you, oh, go buy a generator, oh, go do this, go do that. Nothing wrong if you buy a generator. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't do that. I try to stick to the basic. Because the truth is, you cannot run with your generator on your back. You see what I'm coming from? Yes, a generator is good in your home. A generator will help keep your fridge going. Yes, a generator is good to have. But if a disaster hit, you cannot run with that generator. You got to run and go and try figure out how to save yourself and your family. But no, these little basic skills I'm talking about, just like with the 1 grain of matches. Just like with the 1 grain of matches. See, for instance, right? For instance, you end up leave, there's a disaster, and you end up gotta run. Right? You can't run with nothing, you end up have to run out your house and run. But guess what? You might have a box of matches, you might end up leave with a box of matches. Right? It's cold. But you using the matches and you almost use out all the matches out the box. Because sometimes you draw and it ain't catch it, you draw again. No, it's getting late. And you have 1 grain of matches left. All that fancy thing they're talking about, you couldn't run with that. But you have these matches. Or you might have a lighter. But the lighter almost finished. The liquid almost finished in the lighter. No, there's no way for you to get heat. There's no way for you to run because there's no electricity nowhere. Right? And there's nowhere for you to get heat. But you have 1 grain of matches. You see what I'm coming from? You see why I'm saying practice these basics. Learn how to catch fire. Learn how to figure out how to catch wet wood. If the wood is wet, figure out what am I gonna do to get this fire burning? These skills could save you. They could save you. So now You get your 1 grain of matches, just like what I tell you when to cook the food. 1 grain of matches. You got to catch that because they're going to freeze overnight. So you got to figure out, how am I going to catch this fire and bring wood and keep it burning overnight to keep you and your family warm, somehow warm in some way. Maybe even just to rub your hand over the fire. You understand? So simple skill. This is what I'm saying. Skills. When you cannot run with the stove, you could run with the skill. The skill never too heavy for you to travel with. When the generator might be too heavy, the skill, you're still able to do something. All right? I have multiple sparkers like Flynn and magnifying glass. You know what? I'm not sure if, I'm glad you mentioned magnifying glass. Because I remember magnifying glass. I remember when we used to have the magnifying glass to the sun and hold it to the grass. And then we see the grass start smoking. Then the next thing we see fire. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because this is a source of light as well. Magnifying glass. I'm not sure if, you know, other people call it different name. But the magnifying glass, the sun, when the sun directly on it and you hold it on the grass or piece of paper, you see that thing start smoking. Could you imagine? This is real. The thing starts smoking, then you see it fire. You know what? That's something I got to look into. I got to look back, see if I can get a piece of that glass. Because we know it works for, we know for a fact is a source of catching fire, is a way of catching fire. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning the 50 urban homestead and lifestyle, because this is real. The magnifying glass, we hold it over the fire, over the grass, dry grass, or paper, and it catches the fire. Yeah, I gotta look back for a piece of that. Yeah, for real. We is to start fire with a magnifying glass, growing up, not realizing it was a skill we could use in. Right, it was fun. You see, it was fun. It was just enjoying, not realizing. It's a way of life. It's a way you could live. It's a way you could catch fire. It's a way you can. Yes, guys, magnifying glass. It's a good thing to have because it can catch fire. And we know that for a fact. This ain't no joke. We know that for a fact. So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things out there. It's a lot of things out there that simple. You might have it right in your home and don't even realize you have it. You see where I'm coming from? You might have it right in your home and don't even realize how useful the thing is. All right. Okay. If anyone want to come up and share their thoughts and survival skill, things you can use, the link is in the chat. Because these things are very important. No joke about it. Very, very important. Because, you know, you don't know how important they are until you need them. And could you imagine you have something right in your house that can save you and your family, but you don't know. You see what I'm coming from? You have it right in your house, watching it, looking at it, and don't know that this thing could save you and your family. You understand? So now is the time. I really believe now is the time for us to pay attention, observe, learn as much as you can. Things you tell yourself you never needed before. You never need to learn to do something before. Think about things. Sometimes we have to think about things that we can survive from. We got to think about things that we could survive. Things that can make we basically things that can make we that we could turn to in case there's a disaster. All right? You know, sometimes people say, and I think it's a good idea too. I really think it's a good idea. Sometimes it's also good to have a kit in your car. When I say a kit in your car, like a blanket, different things in your car. In case you got to run out your house and can't hold anything, you have something in your car, which could be a torchlight, which could be lighter, matches, a blanket in a bag, an emergency package in your bag. There's a next thing again, guys. You know, in your car, sometimes yes, sometimes, guys, you know, sometimes you might have a car and you just never know, even in your car sometimes. Because you know, sometimes you see movie, and we're going back to movie again. Sometimes we watch a movie, right? And in the movie, we see a car go over a bridge, right? Like a car run into a river. And when the car run into the river, sometimes you can't screw down the window, or you can't press the button and go down the window. And you got to figure out how to break this glass. So sometimes being prepared, I'm going wide. Being prepared, sometimes it's good to have something in your car as well, in case situation like that happen. So you might be able to hit the glass or whatever. You understand? So even though you want to have a bag in the car for emergency, also have something in case you just never know. That you could just hit the glass and it break, that you could get out. Time is getting too crazy these days, man, and you got to try in every form or the other how to keep yourself well. Whether with the food, whether survival skill, whatever, however, you have to make sure you try to keep yourself well. Because nobody not gonna do it for you. NASA. Wow. Yes. Yes, guys. So disaster is happening everywhere. And I'm just saying we got to be more prepared. and think about things different. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. I'm just here to encourage people, because sometimes we just be sleeping and we don't even realize we're sleeping. So sometimes by hearing something, it could make you realize. It could make you realize something. This is why this conversation is very much needed, because we could learn from each other. Everyone have their own idea of surviving. I could learn something from you as well. You see what I'm saying? I always had a glass break up and a cutter to get the seat belt right. Seat belt off since I had my. All right. Yes, you see, that's another good idea. Something to cut your seat belt in case. Yo, you can't put nothing past these days. You can't take nothing for granted these days. We're seeing it before our eyes. I'm sure that people in Georgia, where the snowfall, I'm sure last year, December, they wasn't thinking anything about any snow gonna be falling in January. They had no, because they know snow don't fall in Georgia. You understand? But guess what? Snow fall in Georgia. So you just never know. It's always good to be aware and expect anything. So you're aware and you expect anything. So you try your best to be as prepared as possible. A lot of people say it's good to have a emergency bag close to your door. That's a good idea too. Like close to your door going out. So if you gotta run, but the thing is sometimes you might be able to get to the door, you might gotta go out through a window, but still, it still is good to have a survival bag. You know what I'm saying? Let's put it this way again, right? I always have emergency gadget. All right. I hope I never have to use it. Okay. You know what? The next thing again, right? Let's go back to this again, right? No, say for instance, I was talking about running, like an emergency, and you got to run, right? No, what if you have emergency, but you ain't got to run? You got to stay home, but guess what? Within the home, you have no running water in the house, no gas running in your house, no electricity running in your house. No, a lot of people automatically they don't realize what they got to do already. But there's a lot of people who never end up in this situation, and because of that, they don't know what to do. And this is for real, man. This is for real. So there's a lot of ways how you can maneuver that. All right, you have no running water, and this is the same thing I was saying a minute ago about having a creek right close to you, or a river or a stream, and you don't know about it. You see where I'm coming from? You have a stream, a river, maybe half a mile away from you, and you don't know about it. That's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Not in this time. Not in this time. No, you could emergency toilet. Remember your toilet now walking, and you ain't know how long, no water to flush, nothing. You don't know how long you're gonna be there without using no water source coming into your house, but you got to use the bathroom. All right, 5 gallon bucket. These things are good thing to have too. 5 gallon bucket with a cover. 5 gallon bucket with a cover. One time we had this discussion and a lady said a good thing but to use 5 gallon bucket, a good thing to keep down the scent is using leaf, like your leaf and grass, like you use it, you grass and leaf. Because depending on where you live in, this still depending on where you live in. You might be living in an apartment. Say, for instance, you're living in an apartment, right? You don't have you can't just be running out. You don't have the yard, so you're limited with what you're doing. So you might use the bucket, but then you need something. Say you do it in the night, you need something to put over that. You might have family, somebody else. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if in case someone else gotta use it, you have something to cover that so the scent ain't gonna affect them. In emergency, guys, you just gotta do what you gotta do. But 5 gallon bucket is really, really good to have. I think it's good to have. It mightn't right now. It might say, "Please, why I want 5 gallon?" Well, trust me, if times like that come by, then you might understand how good it is to have a 5 gallon bucket. If I had to hook a down that small problem because I'm prepared for that, my big problem is people coming to get. Well, that's all right. That's the next problem right there too. That's the next problem too. Because people, in times like that, people might be coming too. I had to do that with my family at the age of 4 in the invasion of right in 1983 in Grenada. Yeah, Fifi. Yeah, oh wow, yes, you're right. I remember. I remember that time. I remember that time when that thing was going on. I remember that time. We all had to use the same bucket for days. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. In this time, you have to do what you got to do. You can't talk about, you just got to do. Even though you might not want to do it, you just got to do it. In emergency time, we had animal pill. Yes, yes. I remember that. I remember that pill. And when the other one, then they party. When the other one was two of them. But you see, man, in times like that, you had us to do what you got to do, man. And you survive it. You survive it. And that, yeah, yeah, Apple, yes. You see, in times like that, you had us to do what you got to do. What you make it through. So it's all about surviving the emergency and able to put something together to make everything work until things get back to normal. So when things get back to normal, you start again. When the water come back in your house, the gas come back in your house, the electricity come back on. You're back to normal. But we have to look into things like this. This is for real. And what we see happening now, even make we think more. Why? Because I'm saying people in Georgia today, in December, they was not thinking about no snow in January. There was a prepare for a snowstorm in Georgia, for snow to fall in Georgia in January. But guess what? It happened. It happened. It happened. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, party or poor. Yep. I remember them day, man, or something, or sometimes the plastic base to keep below the bed because we had latrine, boy, latrine, latrine. But you know what? Latrine in them time, we still you using the latrine, but you just gotta do what you gotta do, and that's the thing. You just gotta do what you gotta do. But at least you have something prepared to deal with the situation at the time. And that's what's important. And at the same time, you was comfortable at the same time. Latrine boy. Oh man. Latrine. That was the days, man. That was the days. But you survive it. You survive it. And a lot of people, believe it or not, in 2025, a lot of people are still using latrine and them things. Yeah. In 2025 today, a lot of people is still, you see, and this is the thing. Sometimes we sit back, right? And all we got to do is go in the bathroom, use the bathroom, flush and flush, right? And we cool with that, you know what I mean? So simple and easy. And other people, you know, situation is different. But no, we got to pay for that lifestyle. That's a lifestyle we got to pay for. And if a situation come, we can't live the lifestyle. If we can't pay for the water, we can't live the lifestyle. If we can't pay for the electricity, we can't live the lifestyle with a switch. You see what I'm coming from? But these people is living this lifestyle and they're comfortable. They're very well comfortable. Because you live in the lifestyle and you okay with it. When you just get comfortable is when you get out of it and you just got to turn on a pipe and the water rush out in your shower. Instead of you have to go and grab 2 buckets and walk a mile to get some water and walk back a mile to get some water. Which one is better? The comfortability? Well, I'm sure a lot of people are going to see the comfortability. Who don't want to just turn a pipe and the water come out? So a lot of times what we got to do, we got to pay for these lifestyle when other people is living their lifestyle for free. All it takes, and you know what? Let me tell you what's funny. In order for you to live that lifestyle, you got to have a job, right? Or a business, or happy, or you got to be working for someone, or you have a business in order for you to live that lifestyle. On the other hand, the people them who have to go and drink their water or use a latrine, you understand? Or use a latrine outdoors, use a bathroom outdoors, they ain't got to pay a dime. You see what I'm coming from? They ain't got to pay a dime. They ain't got to worry, oh, well, I can't pay my water bill this year, so I can't use the bathroom. I got to maybe find a bucket or something. They living their life naturally. And they ain't got to worry. No, on the other hand, you got to go out and work hard to maintain this lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna laugh at people who live in the lifestyle today because I still believe them people could be happy people. Them people could be more happy people than people who live in the life with the light, with the gas in their home. Because if they can't pay that, they lose it anyway. But these people ain't that worried about. You see what I'm coming from? That's like living off the grid. That lifestyle, you see, they call it living off the grid, but this is a lifestyle people live every day and comfortable with it. But when you get used to the water in your house and the switch that you just turn on the light and the gas you just turn on the stove, when you get used to that, you believe that that life is, some people call it poor living. Oh, that's poor living. But you'll be surprised how happy these people living. They ain't got to worry about, oh man, if I pay my gas bill this month, they're gonna cut it off. What they do, they go outside and look for some wood. Right? They have the drum that they could bake into and all that. You know, if you ain't got no gas, oh boy, I can't cook today because they cut off the gas. I can't bake this weekend. These people, them all they gotta do, go and grab some wood, prepare their fire, and they could bake. If you have no water in your house, you understand? If you can't pay a water bill and they cut off your water bill, you cannot live that life. But guess what? These people still able to live their life. They could walk and go and get the bucket of water and come back and bathe. Who more happy when they really check it out? Yeah, guys. When you really sit back, right? When you really sit back and you think about it, you might say that's poor life. Oh, they live in poor. God damn. They gotta go outside and use the bathroom. Well, guess what? If you ain't have the money, you might gotta do the same thing. You might gotta use a bucket. You see what I'm saying? Or you might gotta go out in the bushes. If you have no money to pay a water bill for the water, or you might gotta go buy water somewhere. So looking at that lifestyle and say, oh, that's a poor lifestyle, I wouldn't say that. These people might be living, might be more happier. Yes, it might be a little uncomfortable in certain ways, but it's also uncomfortable if you cannot pay for your water, that you could use your toilet or you could use your shower. You understand? So living off the grid might be a little, looking at it from outside, maybe it might look like poor living to many. But I'm sure you seeing these people smiling. I'm sure you seeing these people, they jogging the water in peace and they jogging the wood in peace. It ain't cost them anything. Living the other way. You gotta, yeah, they get up and jog the wood, yes. And they get up and jog the water, yes. It's no difference than, and they're doing it for free. Hey, James Entertainer, what's up? Good night. Good to see you. Right? They're doing it for free. Right? Over here now, where you got to pay for the water, you got to work for that too. You got to go out and work for that money to pay for the water, that gas, and the light. What do you guys think about that? Let me see. Yes, so true. People still use them. Yes, people use them today. People still live in that lifestyle today. I walk, I had it off it by your days, give me comfort. Yes, I understand. I, I understand. I understand. I understand. You did enough for you did that. You did that. So I understand. You had your time. Yes. Oh, yes, James. Good night, man. Yes, guys. So I'm not telling you guys to live off the grid. I'm just, we just reasoning. But I think living off the grid is a skill everybody should try to get themselves acquainted with. Not to say you have to do it, but get yourself acquainted with it in case you don't know what the future. Hey, Homestead, Stella Rachel, how you doing? Good night. Yeah, we don't know the future. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years from now. We don't know what's going to happen next month. We don't know what's going to happen 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So somehow or the other, you got to get your mind together. Get your mind together. Get your mind in that place that in case something happen, what you going to do? What you going to do? What are you going to do? Especially, man, and we see it. We're seeing it happening right now. We're seeing so much homeless people. We're seeing it before our eyes today. We're seeing it. We're seeing storm. We're seeing this disaster. Not to say it never happened before. It always happening. But it started to happen in different places now that we're not used to. Like the desert. Come, water popping up in the desert. Well, I see that. That's what I heard. So ask the allegedly, right? If water popping up in the desert, we know how the desert used to be. The desert is a place where no water is, and no, you don't see grass and these things. So if water popping, it shows you something is happening, a shift. So you could expect anything. We could definitely expect anything. But living off the grid is a lifestyle. I mean, if I got to live off the grid, I'll survive. I'm telling you right now. If I got to live off the grid, I'll make it. You know what I mean? Because still, like I catch my fire outside, I still cook outside. Because somehow or the other, the food sweeter when you cook it on the wood. Oh yes, the taste is different. So I still cook on outside. I still catch my fire outside. I still use my matches. I still live that type of life because I really think it's a beautiful lifestyle. I think it's a lifestyle everyone should get themselves acquainted with. And that goddamn wood fire, man, that smoke, you know, I was having this conversation the other day. I remember how we used to toast bread. Like you butter bread. You buy bread, but you want it toast and you put in butter inside of it and you want the butter melt. You know what I mean? Like the coal pot. You see, like told the people have toaster. You see, this is what I'm saying. Now you got to have your toaster to toast your bread. In them time, the coal pot with the coals, we just put it under, you know, for a little bit, turn it over. You know, we ain't allowing it to burn, just to heat up. Turn it over and the butter melt inside it. Oh my goodness. That simple lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? And I wasn't complaining. Using that type of way to toast my bread, I wasn't complaining. I actually was enjoying it. And also, all these things is like a skill. How it become a skill? Because you got to know how long to keep it, turn it, because you don't want the outside to get burned up. So these are simple ways, man, how people used to survive in times. And now, now you need toaster to toast your bread. You see? Let me see. The food does sweet. You guys, if you never cook on a wood fire before, please try it. Please try it. I think that food have some extra taste inside of it. I think so. Toaster require electricity. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And the coal pot, yeah. The coal pot, with the coals, you put that bread on it and that's how we used to roast corn too. We used to roast corn like that too. On the coals, you put it and you turn it over. And you wasn't complaining. It was fun. It was exciting. And you eating at the same time. But in today's world, everything become where we depend on technology, where we depend on everything. And we push the basic aside. The basic is important. When basic become important, when everything else fall apart. That's why the basic is always important. That's why you always hear about back to basic. That's where it all starts. Back to basic. Because you push the basic aside because everything becomes so easy now. So, by the tip of our finger now, so we don't need the basic anymore. So we push that aside. But the basic, when all the other extra collapse and fall apart, if you have the basic skill, the basic knowledge, it's easier for you to start over. So don't ever push the basic aside and believe you never need it. We always need the basic. Even the new generation, the younger kids that are growing up, even though we might believe, we might sit down to that, we might say, oh, they're not going to need that information. How we know they're not going to need that information? They might need the information more than ever. Why? Because once what they custom to, with a movie name the other day. I was watching a movie, Leave the World Behind. You guys watch the movie, Leave the World Behind. And as I always talk about this, and the reason why I talk about this is because when I think this is some satellite, something fall out the sky, and this satellite is where this thing was connected to. The GPS, like the cars them that drive for themselves, they all it connect to this thing. Plane falling out the sky, car crashing into each other, because it's technology. Okay. Rachel Holmes said, yes, I watched that movie. Okay, right. So you see, when all the car that drive themselves was just crashing into each other, because whatever controlling them wasn't, I think this day was a satellite and the satellite fall out. So they was just doing their own thing and they was just running into each other on the highway. The boat run up on the sand, plane falling out the sky. So yes, technology is cool, but you never know. If it fails, that's when it becomes a problem. And this is when the basic, that's when the basic gonna be important to people. Because now you cannot depend on technology at this moment. So you gotta back to basic. Because you gotta live, you gotta survive. So it's right back to basic. So basic information, I just believe we all need it. We all need the basic information. Yes, that movie, Leave the Wall Behind. That's the same movie. That's the same movie, Leave the Wall Behind. So we cannot just rely on technology. Don't get me wrong enough. Technology is helpful in many ways. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying technology is not helpful. What I'm saying is it's important to have a backup plan. Your backup plan is back to basic. Basic information. That's your backup plan. So in case anything, you have something to turn back to. Right? You have something to turn back to. Just like today, if I don't have no gas and I don't have no electricity, I'm going back to basic. Right? I'm going right back to basic. I'm going back where I'm gonna be grabbing my wood them and start lighting my fire outside, cooking outside. You see, back to basic. Say for instance, you have your light, you have your gas, you have everything, but you lose your job. Right? No, you can't pay your light, you can't pay your gas, you can't pay electricity. Back to basic. That's why basic is important. Right back to basic. Because you got to live, you got to survive. Back to basic. Very important. Exactly, James. Exactly. Can't have the advance without the basic. I agree with that. You got to have the basic. Let me see. Yes, we all need the basic knowledge on how to live live if the grid goes down. But people look at you differently for doing so. You said it, sis. You said it. You know, most of the time, the people who does get called the names is the people who more awake and you crazy. You say certain thing and they might say you crazy. Most of the time is you more aware because you aware. And when you say certain things, you might get called a name. So I understand what you're saying. But the truth is, basic knowledge is important. Without basic knowledge. I'm telling you, because now you find yourself depending on something to give you information and to show you how to live. And you don't want the basic. How you used to survive with the basic? That's why my woodshed stayed packed. I live in the cold north. All right, I agree. You keep that pack in case back to basic. That's it. In case right back to basic. That's why basic information is so important. I don't know, man. I think it's really important, and I think everybody should be trying to learn as much as they can, because I'm telling you, when because what's happening when we take everything, when we take basic knowledge and we push it aside, right? And we take on something completely different than what we know. We also not passing down this information. This information is getting buried because our children, we know that our children is more gonna be more or gonna be more to this type of life that we see in today, because they're not used to how we grow. The basic, we still should be doing the basic around them, so they have an idea that there's something different than what you see in today. There's something different. There's still another way. So in case this ain't work, we still have something we can turn to. And this is really important. Yeah. Okay. Homestead Rachel said, I taught myself how to deer hunt because I'm a female and black people think it the strangest thing ever. I'm going to feed my family when things go south. Well, if anyone believe because a female is figuring out how to feed her family and learning the basic skill of hunting, and you believe, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. A woman is doing that. You should be, I don't know, man. This is what I'm saying. The world is I don't understand the level of, number one, I just don't understand when it comes to women and, how people try to, because you're a woman. I don't understand. I just don't understand that part. Period. A woman is supposed to do this. A woman can't. Listen to me, I don't understand that. If a woman is hunting and you feel that something is wrong, I don't even know the words to say. I look at you as a person that will make sure your family eat. And that's important. So I'm them thing there, I don't see it that way. I see that as greatness. A woman going out there and hunt. If you want to look at the woman anyway, I don't know what to say. But I respect people like that. So I will Sorry, I don't even know what happened there. But don't let nobody make you feel any way on what you're doing. I think no audio. Let me know. Okay. Yeah. Don't let no one make you feel anyway. You do what you gotta do. Once you're not doing nothing wrong, I don't see a problem with a woman going out there and hunt. If a man feel like it's something wrong, well, you go and hunt and make that land. You go and hunt that the woman don't have to go and hunt. That's what I see. But at the end of the day, survival. And you got to do what you got to do. So don't make that bother you. You just do what you got to do to feed your family. One, you're not doing nothing wrong. You just live your life because you can't please people. And my thing is, these limitations with woman that woman does get, I don't understand it either. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. Right, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that, and no one can take your skill away from you. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, it's the mind. Yes, I agree. It's the mind. People in that area that that's crazy. For me, that's crazy. Don't let no one change your mindset. I agree. It's all about surviving and survival. You understand? And when someone take the necessary step to go out there and hunt to feed their family, I got to give people a thumbs up because there are people who not gonna do it. There are people who not gonna do it. Period. There are people who is not going out there to hunt anything. And then a woman doing it, and it's a listen, just do your thing. At the end of the day, it's all about survival. That's what it's about. It's all about survival and surviving. And these skills, in anyone could take it out. You could go anywhere and survive with these type of skills. You could go anywhere and feed your family with these type of skills. And to me, I think hunting is a skill. To me, oh man, sorry. Yes, I think hunting is a skill. I don't think everybody can really hunt. I think hunting is a skill. I really think that. So people who hunt, they own a skill right there. That's a skill right there. And not everyone have that type of skill. Homestead Rachel say, I took my granddaughters hunting to start training to back to basic knowledge of hunting. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Pass that knowledge down. That's wonderful. Pass that knowledge down. Pass it down. That's wonderful. Back to basic. With that, that's two means of survival. The basic way of survival and the way of survival today. So if the survival today fails you, back to basic, you have something to turn to. And you know what I mean? I don't see, I think a skill is important. I really do think in this world today, even though we know and we see how much technology is pushing. Even though we see that and we understand, I think these skills, and I hear some people saying, right? Oh, you're not gonna need that in the future. You're not gonna need for grow food in the future. You're not gonna need to do this in the future. Because, well, what if they fail? What if they fail? Then what? If you don't have the basic knowledge, then what? This is when people start panicking. This is when people start coming to you for what you have. You see what I'm saying? So telling people that they wouldn't need the basic information for the future, I don't think you will never get enough of the basic living, because you could always turn back to it. Like I said, if today I don't have no light in my house, I go back to basic. If I don't have no gas, back to basic. No electricity, back to basic. Some people gonna panic. Oh my God, I ain't got no light. Panic. Let's say, for instance, let's put it this way. If you don't have, you ain't prepared at all, you have no preparation at all, and your light just goes in the night, could you pull through that? You have no candle, you have no lamp, you have nothing. Could you pull through that, or you want to bug out? Which one? That's a thing we got to worry about. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll be. All right. Sorry for that, guys. Sorry for that. Yes. Yes, guys. So, you know, surviving with these skills is important. Feeding ourselves is important. You see, right now, we talk about gardening a lot over here. We talk about gardening a lot. And why we talk about gardening? Because it's a way of survival, it's a way of feeding yourself and feeding your family. So we talk about that a lot over here, because growing your own food, I think, is a blessing as well. Able to grow your own food, man, that is like a blessing. And that also, growing your food also could become a skill. I mean, all these things is skill. It's skill, survival skill. So these are things you don't want to miss out. And for your next generation, you want to able to pass on something that they could take with them, because the skill is important. Growing our own food, man, listen to me. when I grow my own food, guys, when I grow my own food and harvest time appear, before harvest time, okay. Okay, you're growing food too. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're growing food too. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I like that. Survival. That's a survival. Yes. You know, when I when a springtime come, I get excited. I get very excited. Springtime. Oh my goodness. That's one of my favorite time. The springtime when planting time come and you plant your food. Then you watch your food just growing and looking, your garden looks so luscious and beautiful. Then when you do look, you start seeing flowers in your garden. You start seeing fruits. You start seeing food, pepper, or whatever you grow. It's such a beautiful sight, man. I mean, it's a journey that helped me in many ways. It's a journey that helped me spiritually, physically, and mentally. It's a journey that helps me because from the time you enter that garden, man, from the time, it's like the feeling that comes over you is just different. The feelings that comes over you is just different. Hearing the bird them chopping, hearing, it's just a beautiful feeling. And I really think, I think it's a good, how to put that? I think it's a good therapy for the mind. I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's a good therapy for the mind. And you know what? When you plant in your own food, guys, when you plant in your own food, I know many of you know that. When you plant in your own food, it's just, I think, you know what I think? I think planting your own food is something everybody was supposed to do in the first place. I think we all need that. I think we all need that space, that spiritual space, that mental space, that physical space dwelling between these plants. I think everyone should be doing that. I know the way the world is studied is almost not possible for that to happen. But when you look at nature and the reality of life and everything, you could see that every man should have a piece of land working to feed himself and his family and to barter system. You know, barter system, exchange. Every man, family should have a piece of land with food to feed them and the family. I believe that. I tell the truth, I don't know how to start growing my own food. It's ingrained in me. I understand. I understand that clearly what you see. It's like you just can't. You just can't stop. It's just something you have to do. You just can't stop. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a really beautiful feeling. Just going out in your garden, watch the man. It's good for the mind. It's good for the mind. spiritually, mentally, physically. It's a beautiful thing. So, all right, guys, for the people who actually growing food, you guys start putting your seeds together. You guys start getting them seeds germinate, because guess what? We in January and we know spring start in March. So you guys getting your seed together. Let's talk about gardening for a second, man, because at the end of the day, gardening is about surviving too. It's a survival skill as well. And just like we were talking earlier, about disasters, and in case a disaster happen, what you know things you could do. So when we talk about gardening, there could be a disaster. There could be a disaster, same way like what we know was talking. You got to move, you might have to move. With the skill of growing food and have some seed, you could feed yourself and your family. You see what I'm saying? With that skill of growing your own, all you need is some seeds and somewhere to plant. And just like that, you could feed your family. You see what I'm coming from? So this skill is so important in our life. Even though it might seem like it not, because you could go to the store and buy the food you want. But I think, man, every family should have their own garden, growing their own food. But that's a way of feeding your family. That's a way of entering a space to clear your mind, dwelling between plants, feeling their energy, their vibration. I think it's a beautiful thing to do. I'm not starting this all because I have a lot of overwinter. Okay, all right. Right, if you have overwinter, well, my pepper them that I overwinter in ground. I went there and the plastic, man, I didn't went there for a few days. I didn't went to them for a few days. And when I go, man, the plastic move and the piece of the plastic move and the air was beating them. But the good thing about it is their leaf, well, I didn't expect their leaf to stay green. I didn't expect that. My goal is to keep them alive, to get them to spring back in the spring. But when I look at them, their stalk was still green. The leaf them was dry, quail up, but the staff them was still green. So I'm just hoping that they pull through and I can really see this, what I'm doing come to life. That they could naturally spring back. But what I've, and you see, this is this is a journey that I've learned. The truth is, well, this is in like zone 8 and zone 9, these places, right? If you could really build a greenhouse for a pepper tree, it could survive. And that's the truth. For what I experienced, they could survive. They mightn't, I'm talking about outdoor. And depends on how you build a greenhouse. Who knows? They might even be producing indoors if you do it the right way. Like for instance, a little heat in the coal. If you have like a little heat in the coal, that might help them. And they have room that the air could circulate, that might help them. So these are things I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna stop. This is why I always try to do things to learn and experiment and see how it works, see if it is working for me, see if it works for me. These are things I love to do. You know what I'm saying? Like pigeon peas. I'm actually have some pigeon peas now germinate. You know what, guys? You know what? I think I love to put my seed in soil to germinate, but certain things I think put them in napkin, and like you damp the napkin with the seed, cover it up and put it in a Ziploc bag. I think that works maybe even faster than the dot because I grow sorrel, right? I just grow sorrel. And every time I throw the sorrel seed in those, it's like they don't germinate inside. But when the spring come and I take them outside, then I see they germinate outside and start growing, which that time is too late for me. I need them to start earlier because I want them to be able to produce. Like last year, I get some sorrel. I think I get some sorrel seed from Fifi Urban Homestead and Lifestyle. Yeah. And I set them inside. They did not germinate inside. I don't know, maybe I didn't give them enough water. But when I take them outdoors, they germinate. But that was late. That was like April. You want them to germinate now, January, February. So you have time for them to grow and produce and their fruits to get mature enough before harvest for the frost. But this year, I take them, I soak them overnight. This time, I soak them overnight, and then I put them in the paper, the tissue paper towel, and I soak the paper towel and wrap it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in a dark place. In 4 days, I see they start pushing out eyes. I was so excited. So what I did now, I put them in a soil. I put them in soil and I cover it and I wet them. So now they already germinate. They don't push out the root already. So now is for me to care them now that I can get. I did that with the pigeon peas as well. The pigeon peas, them also germinate. And you know what, guys? When you talk, you see, grow lights. I don't really use grow lights like that. I have grow lights, but I really don't use grow lights like that because I basically just put them by a window. But I went in by the store, and this one, I'm gonna use this one over my sorrel and my pigeon peas. This one, I think this one here, I purchased this one. I think it was $30, and I end up see it for $20, so $10 off. Right? This is what I'm gonna be using over my pigeon pea seed because the reason for that is because I want them to grow. Because these things, some of them take forever for for produce. So you want to get them going early. Because pigeon peas, some of them take 6 months, some of them take almost a year before them start producing. So I'm hoping that this light will be able to boost them, that I can get them to a certain size by the spring. I'm hoping. Hey, Dark Lumen, how you doing? Let me see what Dark Lumen saying. Hello, I put spring onion seed all over my garden, pretty much everywhere. And now I have too many and don't know how to store them all. Okay. You put seeds, you spread, you put spring onion seeds all over your garden, pretty much everywhere, and now have too many and don't know how to store them all. What do you mean? Like, well, all over your garden, onion seed. I think, oh wow, that's supposed to be a lot of onion you have there. Well, the only thing I can tell you, that's supposed to be a lot. Hey, James, all right, James, good night, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming through, all right? Good night. Yes. So, I don't know. That's a lot if you sprinkle them everywhere. The only thing I can tell, what you do, you plant in ground raised bed. Maybe that's a lot. Oh man, that's a lot. It look like grass. Dark Lumen, you might have to get rid of some of them. I don't know what to tell you. If it look like grass all over your garden, that's a lot. Or you planting both. Well, the only thing I can try to tell you is transplant some of them and move them close to each other. Oh God, that's a lot. Looking like grass. Or you might just got to get rid of some of them if you want to plant other things. If you want to plant other things, you might just got to get rid of some of them. That's all I can tell you. If they're looking like grass, that's a lot. So you might have to get rid of some of them or take up some, transplant them in the pots them that you want to put them into. And if you're trying to plant other things, you might just got to get rid of some of them or give them away. Something, because that seems like it's a whole lot. Wow. Yes, that's the only thing I can tell you because if they look like grass, I'm telling you, that's a lot of seed. Onion seeds, that's a lot. Transplant some, you could put more than one in a pot. You could definitely put more than one in a pot. And transplant, move them, and try to put them in one area that you're able to plant other stuff. Next time I recommend putting them in a corner. Don't throw them all over your garden. That's too much. Put them in a corner, or you could even put them in a container. You could have a big container and sow them inside the container that you're able to have some kind of control. I put them all around my collards and beads. Okay. Well, just move them out and put them in container and see how it's gonna work for you. Yeah, put them in, transplant them out in containers and see, because I know you need space to grow other things. So now it look like your green are growing in onion grass. Man, that's a lot of onion you put out there. If they're looking like grass, that's a whole lot of onion. Wow. Just make sure you have more control next time. Don't just sprinkle them everywhere. Sprinkle them in one spot or sprinkle them in a container that you have some sort of control. Yeah, move some of them. Give them room to grow. All right. I really think I'm growing a tropical garden this year. That's my focus this year. Growing a tropical garden. I'm not growing too much. I'm growing crops that can grow for themselves. Yeah, basically crops that can grow for themselves and basically take care of themselves. That's the kind of crop I want to grow. And last year was very challenging with years. Challenging, I wouldn't say that bad because they didn't do too much damage, but I'm believing there's gonna be more this year. And if you give them just easy access to able to just walk in your garden and do what they feel like, it might become something where they just feel comfortable and invite more friends, then they have more babies, then they just, so I'm trying to create a little barricade this year. You know what I'm saying? Because they eat all the grapes, the squash them, they was eating up the squash them on the ground. They was doing a lot. So this year I want to grow tropical. I want to grow a lot of underground root crop. Pigeon peas. I want to grow some pigeon peas too. Sorrel. I want to grow sorrel, edos, dasheen, yam. You know, some of my yam I didn't even harvest them this year. I didn't even get the time to harvest some of my yam this year in the ground. But I don't believe they're gonna be I don't believe they're gonna survive. I don't believe yam gonna survive. Okay. Have you tried passion fruit? No, you know what? No, I didn't grow any passion fruit. But I was looking at someone was selling passion fruit and they say that breed of passion fruit comes back every year. That's a breed I will love to get. The ones that comes back every year. That's the one I will love to have. And this is the type of plant I'm trying. I'm trying to create a food forest. And the food forest I'm trying to create is a food forest that comes back for itself every year. Not me have to go out there every year and replant. No. I want a food forest that comes back. It comes back up in the spring. So there's a lot of food that I plant that comes back every year, which is the root crop, them, the Edos, the Dasheen, the Tanya. So I personally don't really have to go and plant anything. Food will just come back up in my garden every year. And that's what, so I'm trying to get more plants that I know that's just gonna come back every year, that I don't have to go out there and actually do anything to get food. Yes, I know I might have to go out there and take care of the plants, do that, but at least I know even if I don't go out there, food eventually gonna come right back up. That's the kind of food forest I'm trying to prepare. The maple comes back every year. Maple, what is maple again, Fifi? Urban homestead and lifestyle. Maple, what is maypap? Comes back every year. What is that again? I forgot the name. Some familiar, but I've kind of forgot. Fruit trees are good for food forest, fig, apple. Yes, 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 yes. I have fruit trees already. Like I have the fig, I have, you know what? I don't have the citrus tree in my garden that comes back every year. I have citrus trees, I have them, but I have them in containers. I think I need a kind that comes back. I need one. I like to have an orange tree, grapefruit tree, and lemon tree that comes back every year. That I will love. Because I just want to know that, okay, I don't have to plant anything this year. They all gonna come right back. That's what I'm trying to create. Okay, maple, let me see. Maple is a passion fruit. Okay, okay, okay. Maple is a passion fruit. So the maple can come back every year. Good. All right, thanks for that. So passion fruit is a fruit I love. I love the juice. I think the juice is amazing. I love the juice. So growing that and it able to come back every year, I think that'd be wonderful. I'm also growing kiwi. I have kiwi. I was told that the kiwi come back every year. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to see it come back this year. So kiwi, you and that breed of kiwi I saw. You know what? I saw someone had a kiwi. There's a guy I went by last year that he have a greenhouse with tropical fruits, and he had a kiwi plant. The body of the kiwi was like this size, running in vines, like it come apart the root and he train it in a way, like it running over so. If you see the size of that, the part that comes out the root, I will love to have that. I will love to have one like that. Yeah. I have a flying dragon citrus plant in ground. It's cold hardy. A flying dragon citrus plant. Flying dragon citrus plant. And it's cold hardy. Okay. That name, let me write down that name. Flying dragon citrus tree. Okay. Gotta look into that. Gotta definitely look into that. I don't know I don't know the name of what kind of kiwi it is, but listen me, the part, you know the part that comes out of ground and then the others run gone wherever? The thing like this. I say, my goodness. Yeah, the guy went by last spring. I went by him last spring where you have, you have all kind of fruit trees in a greenhouse, and plus you have, a matter of fact, you have a fig tree too. The fig tree you have is like a tree. The fig tree is like a tree you could climb. I say, damn. Then you have a plum tree. My goodness. I never see so much plum in one tree. I'm telling you. I never see so much plum in one tree. And the tree is massive too, right? The tree is massive. The tree is tall, real tall. And the thing loaded with um plum from the top to the bottom. He said when they ripe, the limb them not just come right down. You could just walk and just pick it. I never see so much plum on one tree. So these are the things I'm looking for, and I think this spring I'm gonna go back up there to see what available, what they have available, because that's what I'm looking to do. Create a food forest that comes back every year, and I don't have to go in there and do too much. Like the Edos, them come back every year. That's Stream, Tanya, Yam, Yam, you got to start them indoors in my zone. You got to start them indoors. But all these type of food is what I want to grow. I don't want, in case you cannot say, all right, let me get outside and grow some food this spring, regardless, food gonna comes up. And I think that's a good way of creating a food forest. I think that's a really good way. Creating a food forest in that form that comes back for itself every year. I think that's a good idea. I'm getting ready. I have some cabbage. I'm getting ready to plant next month. I have some broccoli I'm also getting ready to plant next month. I'm basically coming with my, we call it, my edibles, Ollie, this spring. So cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, what else? Some lettuce, I'm coming with them Ollie. And then later on in the season, come with the pepper, the okra, and by that time, the dasheen and Edos gonna be coming up out the ground. Let's see, man. But for what we know, man, you can't predict too much these times because you just never know what could happen, man. We just never know what could happen in times like this. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Who knows, man? Maybe just now we might be able to grow food outside. And I think it's time for we learn to make our own compost. I think it's time our own manure. I think it's time because I opened up a bag the other day because I wanted to feel what's inside there. And it was a plastic bag. And that was strange to me. The plastic bag didn't open. Plastic bag didn't open. So I just to feel the compost inside. And when I open, I saw thing walking up inside there. And I'm saying, what the hell? Like, fine. And I'm saying, but this bag is closed. How? These things able to live inside a closed bag, survive inside a bag that closed. That's something to think about. in a compost. So buying these things, you don't know what you're introducing to in your soil. I'm telling you. Using these things, you have no idea what you're introducing in your soil. And we don't know, man. So I think getting back to basic as always, like what we now saying, even though making your compost, getting back to basic is important. Your compost, getting back to basic. Growing your food, get back to basic. Yeah, the time is coming, man. The time is coming. But yes, guys, I want to say thank you all for coming out tonight, man. I appreciate each and every one tonight. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This was a very interesting conversation. I think thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts. Thank you, Fifi Urban Homestead and Lifestyle. Thank you, Good Eats. Good Eats Homestead. Thank you, James Entertainment. I remember everybody. Dark Looming. Thank everybody who come out tonight, man. This was a really good topic. Appreciate all the thoughts, all the information that you guys help share with us. Appreciate it. I just want you guys to have a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of the night, the rest of the week, and enjoy this new year. Even though we don't know, try to make the best of it. Even though we don't know what is happening or what's going to be happening. Try to make the best of it. Be prepared however you can. It's never too late to obtain skills. Never too late. All right? And always remember, try to pass on something to the children, because even though you might believe they're not listening, they might be listening more than you think. They mightn't apply what you teach them today, but it's here. And like how I always mention, when you cannot run with a generator on your back, when you cannot run with a stove on your back in disaster time, you could always run with the information. You could always run with the skills, and they're never too heavy for you. All right? They're never too heavy for you. There is things that will feed you and your family. All right? So always remember that. Even as one skill, try to obtain it so you could pass it on to your children. You'll be surprised. Let me say this before I go. You know how great it is. You know how great it is to know that you teach your children something. Watch them come and master it, and you sitting down, you stand up, and you're watching them and you saying, you feel so proud. You understand? You feel so proud to know that this is something you teach them, you pass on to them. Now they master it. They're doing it like 1, 2, 3. Make you feel proud. Make you feel proud. It's a good feeling. Sometimes when you believe they're not watching and they're not paying attention, you might be surprised. Sometimes it might discourage you because you feel like, you know what, they're not even listening. And then, you know what? Let me stop. Let me leave you alone. No. Always stay your peace. They listening. They have ears. Where you think they just passing. No, they listening and they hearing. But when you pass on these skills to your children and you watch how they become, master it and now doing it, and you watching them and you see, you stand off and you say, my goodness, you feel proud. And when they pass it on to their children, they should feel the same. All right? So thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Thank you all.